be hard to say that my mom wasn't one of the best people one of the best people I ever knew.
I'm gonna start crying. She's the best person I ever knew.
Just how, you know, perfect she was. I mean, she really was. She was a great person. She was so kind, so nice. She cared about all of us.
I remember saying she was perfect. Nobody's perfect though, but yeah. No, I mean, she was kind of perfect as a granny and a mom, right?
She did more for us than we actually realized.
The only bad thing about her was she never knew how to say no to anybody.
just her nature. I mean, how she was always willing to help everybody.
She was so good. She was such a nice person. She went out of her way for anybody.
Well, she was always there for us.
When you and Andrew were born, how wonderful she was. She was so helpful to me. And then right after Andrew was born, Dad's dad died in Scotland. And of course he wanted to go for the funeral, but it was too early because Andrew was only like a week old. So we couldn't go. And of course I went to stay with my mom and dad, and they were wonderful to me. Helped me a lot.
She volunteered for everything. She worked at everything. She did everything she could all the time. She was nice to everybody. She took care of everybody. She also was fairly strong and independent.
She picked up people at the bus stop on her way to town quite often if they were waiting. So she was that type of person. Very, very kind, very nice.
I mean, she always took us around family. I think that's kind of one of those things that she always wanted. Every year she'd put us all in the car and we'd have to go visit each one of her sisters and brothers and their families. So we always did that. I think that was, we had a lot of fun doing that. I think she always wanted us to know the family, everybody. And she cared a lot for all of her family. She always wanted to see them all the time.
She used to pick up the kids, you kids, every Friday. Every Friday at 3 o'clock, she would go around and pick up everybody. But she would always say that Sean and Alex were fighting in the back all the time. So she would stop the car. She always told us she'd stop the car and tell them, I'm gonna spank you, but I don't think she ever did.
It's because she used to pick up the kids at nursery, even though they were pain in the neck, the boys, but she never gave up. She used to go, and we kept telling her, if they're too much for you, they fight, the two boys, Alex and Sean fight all the time, you should not do this, it's too stressful. And but she always did.
Mom would pick me up, and almost by adoption would then pick up Glenn and William. And Mom would pick us up every day at Harrington Sound.
She wanted to do so much for all you kids, and we were kind of like, you don't have to do this all the time. But she always wanted to. She never gave up with Alex and Sean.
I remember her in the car. I remember her driving us around in the car. I remember her doing Meals on Wheels in the car. I remember going to Meals on Wheels in the car. I remember going to the cathedral in the car with Mom. I remember going to St. Mark's in the car when she was working for Father, or whatever his name was. So anyway, yeah, I remember that. I remember it was generally that one memory of picking us up and driving us around and taking us to different places.
Volvi always said such really great things about Granny, about my mom, right? She always, she always likes like, oh, your mom, She stitches so neatly. She's never seen anybody stitch like her, or she eats so delicately, or you know, she always said nice things about my mom. So I was always like, oh wow, you know, that's unusual, right, for a mother-in-law?
Marie was very family orientated and particularly into her grandchildren, and spent a lot of time with you and Andrew and the other kids. Helped everybody, and that was very evident at a funeral where the church was overflowing with people, which showed the love and respect that she was held with.
I do remember one story when she found a wallet. I don't know if you've heard this already. She found a wallet and just in the road somewhere, and she looked through it and she called the person, and the person was down St. George's and couldn't get up to her. So she said, okay, give me your name and your address and I'll come and deliver it to you. Now she found it, right? And we all were saying, Mom, really? You don't have to go that far out of your way. But she did. She went and took that wallet to the person who couldn't come and get his own wallet.
When her mom died, and I remember her being in the room, and I went in there and she was crying, and I didn't know, because I don't think anybody had said to me that she had died. And I went up to her, you know, Mommy, why are you crying? And she told me.
Mom woke me up in the morning, and I was probably 9, I guess, and had to tell me that Papa had died. And, you know, obviously, it's not a nice memory, but I remember how Mom did it, and how she talked to me, and how she helped me to understand what was going on and what had happened. And you know, it was, you know, I mean, it's a mixed memory, but it's a memory of, you know, me remembering, you know, I can remember Mom and how she comforted me, and, you know, helped a 9-year-old, if I was even that, figure out that, what had happened there, so.
Sean was getting bullied at Harrington Sound in P3, and I would go there and talk to the teachers and see what's going on. But she made an effort to pick him up every day and take him to school so she could sit there with him to see what was going on, but she protected him.
He basically said something along the lines of, she didn't need any more dresses, and something along those lines, something like that. And my mom was not impressed at all. And I remember her telling Angie Rigo at the table when we were having dinner, something along the lines of, Angie, if Irvin told me anything like that, I can tell you what he would have heard. I would have told him that I don't care what his opinion is, and that I am going down there and I am going to buy that dress. And I'm pretty sure she convinced Angie Rigo that she didn't care what Manuel had to say about her buying that dress, and they were gonna go down there and buy that dress. And Manuel was not impressed. And I think Dad walked in on something that he was not at all to blame for, but Mom was already annoyed with men in general, and thinking, even considering the fact that Irvin would have told her that she could not buy a dress, she would have probably punched him in the nose. So I remember that one. I think that was, you know, just a different side to Mom, but still a good side. So
I wanted to stay up and watch Bewitched, but it was past my bedtime. And I was so sad. I was probably crying because I wanted to watch it. And I went to bed, and I was in bed mad. And then she came out and said, she came into the bedroom and said, would you like to get up and watch Bewitched? And I was so happy.
She was just always there for us, you know?
Just, like I said, how she was just such a wonderful mom.
You know, everybody liked her.
So I think I was more impatient, and she was just more so patient. Like, you know. So that's, yeah, she was always like that.
I mean, I think we went through a little bit of a bad patch in my teenage years, which most people do. But other than that, she was just wonderful to me.
She did a lot for us, that's for sure.
Yeah, she always got along with everybody.
I could always count on her.
Yeah, she was a wonderful mother.
I remember her always saying to us, treat other people how you want to be treated by yourself. And that was something she always said. She must have said that to us as kids, like, every day. That was her thing. She always said that. And that's what I think she always did too. She always treated people how she wanted to be treated.
Right. I think about mom all the time, and I think, you know, mom would be 93 now, and I could easily see mom would still be with us, because she just, I never thought of mom as being old, you know, and that was, she died in 2001, I think, 2002, and that's 19 years ago now. But even then, she was 72, wasn't it? In her 70s anyway. And I never even thought of mom as being old. I mean, mom, you know, was always super active and super healthy, and I imagine mom quite happily would be still going at 92 or 93 years old. So yeah, I mean, you know, I wish we'd had a lot more years with mom, obviously. Yeah, you know, she would have loved to see all of the now great grandkids and all the grandkids growing up, and meet Connor and all the future grand-in-laws, I guess. So yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, obviously that I would have loved to have known. I would love to have seen another 20 years of what that would have been like if mom had still been around with us. So.